From our studios in New York, here is Jane Pauley.
Good evening. Let's talk about your brakes. I'll bet it's been a while since anybody looked at your brakes, and most of us don't even know what they look like. But you're a little leery of letting an expert take a look because you're afraid of getting gouged. How much should it cost? Dateline took its cameras undercover to check on what seemed like a good deal to keep your brakes working properly. What we learned could save you money and more. Here's Chief Consumer Correspondent Lee Thompson with a Dateline hidden camera consumer alert.
The brakes are one of the most important things on your car. They can save your life at a critical moment, which is why maintaining them is so important. The problem is, you may not actually know just how they work. And if you try to find out, you're liable to hear a lot of technical words you don't understand.
So the calipers need to be rebuilt on the front.
Okay, the calipers need to be rebuilt on the front.
Correct.
Tonight you'll hear some of that on our hidden cameras and learn what you can do about it. But first, you need to know the basic braking system isn't all that complicated. Most new cars have a system like this. When you push on the brake pedal, it pushes on something called a caliper, which helps the brake pads clamp down on a spinning rotor and bring your wheels to a stop. Over time, the pads wear out and the surface of the rotors becomes rough. Experts say it's best to have your car checked at 30,000 miles or so because eventually it's going to need some brake work to get the pads replaced and rotors resurfaced. And because there are other moving parts in a braking system that may also need fixing, some mechanics can overwhelm customers with all kinds of technical terms that can make getting your brakes worked on a difficult and sometimes expensive proposition. In fact, many experts we spoke with said it's very easy to get confused. One of the biggest advertisers of low-price brake work is Just Brakes.
Just Brakes?
What does Just Brakes charge for a friction reline?
Just Brakes friction reline is just $99.88 in most cases.
It's a national chain with 140 stores, mostly in the South and Southwest, and it's growing fast. You may have seen Just Brakes' website or heard its ads on the radio for cut-rate brake work.
For just $99.88 in most cases. That's the best price in town.
That's why I brought the truck there, because I heard it on the radio.
Glenn Dolezal and his mom Iris needed some brake work done on their truck, so they went to Just Brakes. But instead of $99.88, they were quoted a very different price.
Like $440.
When he gave you that price, did it floor you?
Yeah. My goodness, where'd they get all that from?
The Dolezals say Just Brakes mechanics told them the truck was dangerous and needed a lot of brake work. But their Chevy dealership had already told them the truck only needed a basic brake job. Work the commercial said would be covered in Just Brakes' $99 deal. So Glenn told the Just Brakes mechanic to forget it and started to leave.
His last comment when he was going to walk out is that, well, I wouldn't let my mother drive that truck.
Why do you think he said that to you?
He was just trying to scare us.
Why do you do it, Just Brakes?
Because at Just Brakes, we really do care.
But if you go to Just Brakes, will you pay just $99.88? According to 4 Better Business Bureaus, it may not always be easy. At the Houston Better Business Bureau, Dina Wade says the complaints started rolling in as soon as Just Brakes started running its ad.
Normally, people go in, they want the $99 special, they come out with a higher bill.
So how much should a basic brake job cost? To find out, we asked 2 expert mechanics. Pat O'Reilly is head of auto repair for AAA of Texas. And Ray Moon runs a general auto repair shop in Houston which does brake jobs and was named as a AAA top shop for customer satisfaction. They say for a basic brake job, which generally consists of replacing the pads, resurfacing the rotors so they're nice and smooth, and lubricating the moving parts, you should expect to pay at least $300, depending on the quality of the parts. They both wondered how any shop could do it for $99.88. So with their help, we wanted to see what would happen if we took some vehicles in for Just Brakes' $99 brake job. We couldn't take the same car to all the locations because once you fix a braking system, you can't unfix it. So we asked our experts to find 5 vehicles with similar mileage. Moon and O'Reilly went over each of the vehicles with a fine-tooth comb,
The rotor looks good.
examining the entire braking system carefully.
They look good. There's no signs of cracking, and there's plenty of lubrication in there.
They told us some needed no brake work at all, while others needed nothing more than a basic brake job, the same brake job Just Brakes advertises it can do for $99.88. Then, one by one, with our hidden cameras rolling, we took the vehicles to 5 Just Brakes locations in Houston. At the first Just Brakes store, the mechanic agreed with our experts that this green Explorer didn't need any brake work at all, at least not for now. But then he warned,
I wouldn't go more than 2 months. That's all you got left.
He told us to come back in 2 months and didn't even make us pay the $17 Just Brakes normally charges for inspecting the brakes. So we moved on.
I wanted to get the brakes checked on this car out in front.
We took this gray Ford Tracer to a second location. Once again, the mechanic agreed with our experts that all it needed was a basic brake job.
Put new pads on the front, new tubes on the back, between the rotors and the drum. We repack, no bearings to repack. Bleeding plug the system.
He was polite and didn't try to pressure us into more work. He offered us the $99.88 deal, and we accepted. But the question is, would we actually get what we paid for? As you'll see later, we were in for some surprises. And when we went to another Just Brakes, it wasn't so easy to get its advertised $99 brake job. At a third store, we took in a black Explorer that our expert said was in such good shape it didn't even need a brake job for 5,000 to 10,000 miles. But that's not what this mechanic named Buddy told us.
It's completely and totally wore out.
So, I'm saying, how many more miles could I get with what I had?
None. You're fixing to start ruining really expensive stuff. These are about 150 a piece. And you're fixing to metal to metal, so you're fixing a fair amount.
Okay, so I can't go any further with what I got?
It needs to be done now. I mean, if you drive any further, you're going to wind up ruining the rotors. So the pads here, all the way down to nothing.
And how much is all of this going to cost? Buddy's co-worker Ken gave us the bad news.
It would be about $296.42.
Almost $300 for work not just one, but 2 experts told us didn't need to be done yet. It was similar at a fourth Just Brakes. Our expert said all this white Ford Tracer needed was a basic front brake job, nothing more than what Just Brakes advertises for $99.88. But this mechanic named Angel said it needed more, and guess what it would cost?
Right. $265.56 plus tax.
$265, a long way from $99.88. And listen to this pitch at the 5th Just Brakes we visited. Our expert said this Ford Aspire didn't need anything more than what's covered in the $99 deal. And this mechanic said the car would be safe with the $99 job, but he said we needed much more work, things like calipers and hardware for the brakes to work properly.
So it needs front calipers on the vehicle. It needs hardware, front and rear.
Those are all necessary?
Well, I mean, you don't have to put them on the car, but they're necessary to make the car like it's supposed to be.
And how much is all of this additional work going to cost?
Look at $265.51.
Earlier, this mechanic at the same shop had told us if we didn't pay the higher price, it could be dangerous.
What if you don't fix them now?
Grease will start to spread out. Centrifugal force will throw the grease out, and it'll get over the brake shoes. It'll create the brake shoes. It'll stop them from working.
It'll stop the brakes from working?
It'll stop the rear brakes from working.
So if I don't replace a degreaser, it could damage the brakes?
Correct. But I'm not going to say it's going to happen immediately. It can happen.
Here's the scorecard so far. 3 out of 5.